Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. I'm Rosmah Mansor and you're watching Kini News, the show that brings you today's biggest stories. So far, all those tested positive for the coronavirus in Malaysia were Chinese nationals. Well, that statement is no longer true because the first Malaysian has tested positive for the coronavirus. A Malaysian bachelor who just returned home from a week-long business trip in Singapore has been placed in an isolation ward at the Sungai Buloh Hospital after he tested positive for the novel coronavirus. The 41-year-old returned to Malaysia on the 23rd of January but only sought treatment for fever and cough at a private medical facility in Selangor on the 29th. Because of this, relevant authorities are conducting tracing procedures in Malaysia and Singapore to identify where and who he has been in contact with.
KKM telah berhubung dengan Kementerian Kesihatan negara jiran yang saya sebutkan tadi, yang maksudkan saya tadi, yang negara jiran tersebut, dan mereka mengesahkan bahawa aktiviti contact tracing telah pun dimulakan.
According to Health Minister Zulkifli Ahmad, the man is currently in stable condition and all his family members are being monitored. Malaysians who were previously trapped in Wuhan have been successfully brought home, but the ordeal isn't over for them because they'll still need to undergo a 2-week quarantine. 133 passengers and crew landed at the KL International Airport early this morning after a successful mission to evacuate Malaysians trapped in the epicenter of the coronavirus outbreak in Wuhan, China. The Malaysians were evacuated using an Air Asia plane along with their spouses and children, some of whom are not Malaysians. The mission, coordinated by the Malaysian government, was undertaken by 12 Air Asia crew members, 8 mission officers, as well as 6 officials from the Malaysian embassy in Beijing. The aircraft, which landed at 5:57 a.m., was met by a hazardous material hazmat team and health ministry personnel on the tarmac before being taken a short distance by bus to the air disaster unit at KLIA, where the decontamination process and health screenings took place. After the screening procedures were complete, 2 fire and rescue department buses left KLIA with a police escort, heading to a monitoring facility called the Home Surveillance Centre, where those who were evacuated from Wuhan will undergo a 14-day quarantine. Before the Malaysians were brought back from China, they were checked there, and upon arrival they were checked again. 2 did not pass the second round of screenings in Malaysia. 2 out of 107 individuals who arrived in Malaysia on a special flight from Wuhan, China this morning had failed their health screenings and were immediately sent to the Kuala Lumpur General Hospital. In a statement released by the National Disaster Management Agency, Deputy Prime Minister Dr. Wan Azizah Wan Ismail said all 107 Malaysians who were living in Wuhan had passed an initial screening in China before boarding the Air Asia flight. She said although it was previously informed that there were 141 individuals who had registered with the Malaysian embassy in China to return home, only 107 people boarded the flight. According to Wisma Putra, a number of Malaysians scheduled to board the flight could not leave Wuhan due to logistical issues as they were located outside of Wuhan and faced difficulties to get transport to the city or airport. Wan Azizah said the remaining 105 people who passed the screening were then taken to a surveillance centre in Nilai Negeri Sembilan, where they will be subjected to screenings twice a day and kept in quarantine until declared fit to leave. India's threat to boycott Malaysian palm oil has evoked a response from Pakistan, which may leave a smile on Dr. Mahathir's face. Pakistan Prime Minister Imran Khan is on a 2-day working visit to Malaysia to bolster ties between the two nations. During a press conference with Dr. Mahathir Mohamad, Imran Khan thanked the Malaysian Prime Minister for speaking up on the Kashmir issue and has pledged to buy Malaysian palm oil that India has threatened to boycott.
Especially since we noticed that India threatened Malaysia for supporting the Kashmir cause. They threatened Malaysia to cut their palm oil imports. Pakistan will do its best to compensate for that.
Meanwhile, Imran Khan also expressed regret for not being able to attend the KL summit last December.
Well, I've already explained that there was a fear from some of our friends that the KL summit was going to divide the Muslim countries. That now fear no longer exists because that was not the purpose of the summit. So yes, I will attend, and no, it did not affect our relationship with the other Muslim countries.
At the joint press conference today, Imran said if the summit is organized again next year, he would attend. A corruption trial is the least of Rosmah's worries at the moment. She has bigger things to worry about, her health in particular. Najib Abdul Razak's wife Rosmah Mansor, who is facing criminal charges of her own, has been hospitalized at a private facility in Kuala Lumpur on Monday night. Her lawyer Akbaruddin Abdul Qadir revealed this to Malaysia Kini when contacted to confirm a report on her admission. According to him, she may be admitted for several days based on the doctor's advice. Akbaruddin also confirmed that Najib was by Rosmah's side in the hospital last night. Rosmah's corruption trial was supposed to begin yesterday at the Kuala Lumpur High Court. However, she was absent due to medical reasons, with her lawyer submitting a copy of a medical report dated February 2nd. Apart from cervical spondylosis and osteoarthritis in both knees, the report also stated that Rosmah suffered from chronic adrenal inefficiencies. The trial is set to commence on Wednesday. China has agreed to allow US health experts into the country as part of the World Health Organization effort to fight the fast-spreading coronavirus. China has agreed to allow US health experts into the country as part of a World Health Organization effort to help fight the fast-spreading coronavirus as the number of cases and deaths continue to increase. The White House said on Monday that China had accepted its offer to have US experts as part of a WHO mission to study and help combat the virus. The WHO last week declared the flu-like virus a global emergency. It has spread to 23 other countries and regions. The Philippines reported the first coronavirus death outside of China over the weekend, and Hong Kong reported another death outside China earlier today. Earlier on Monday, China accused the United States of spreading fear by pulling its citizens out and severely restricting travel. The US Center for Disease Control and Prevention defended the measures taken by the United States, including suspending the entry of foreign nationals who had visited China within the past 14 days. The WHO said at least 151 cases had been confirmed in 23 other countries and regions, including Japan, Thailand, Germany, Britain and the United States, which on Monday reported its second case of person-to-person transmission within its borders. Coming up next, several African countries are being invaded by loud flying creatures. In Thailand, domestic violence is on the rise. All that and more after this. Maintaining a steady food supply is already an issue in certain African countries. So what happens when suddenly you're faced with the worst locust invasion in 70 years? The locust plague that hit East Africa is now threatening to expand to more countries in the region. According to the United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization, these swarms of desert locusts are within 200 kilometers of Uganda and South Sudan. These swarms, first sighted in December, have already destroyed tens of thousands of acres of farmland in Kenya, Somalia and Ethiopia, threatening food supplies in the worst locust invasion in 70 years. At least one locust swarm have already been seen in Eritrea, and several had also been sighted in Oman and Yemen. The FAO said 11 million people in Ethiopia, Somalia and Kenya are already experiencing food insecurity, and swarms will worsen the situation.
We know that these locusts, the locusts that we see here, can create really massive devastation, not only in terms of crop, but also in terms of pasture, and therefore affecting the livelihoods of the pastoralist communities.
Authorities are responding with the aerial spraying of pesticides, but experts say the scale of the infestation is beyond capacity, as desert locusts can travel up to 150 kilometers a day and rapidly multiply. Thailand is witnessing an unusual spike in domestic violence. The problem is further compounded by the social taboos surrounding the issue. It was meant to be the happiest time in Phon's life. She had just found out she was 2 months pregnant. She was in love and ready to start a family. But her perfect life turned out to be her worst nightmare. It was January 1st, 2016, when her husband came home high on drugs and drunk, the combination that resulted in a fit of rage.
เขาก็บีบคอต่อยก่อนทีแรกทั้งไม้ทั้งเหล็กทั้งบุหรี่จี้โดนทุกส่วนของร่างกายตั้งแต่4 ทุ่มยันตี 5
When she woke up, she found herself in an ICU, fearing for her life. Barely conscious, she walked into a Bangkok police station. The police refused to file charges against her husband, describing it as a domestic dispute. Brutalized in life, ignored in her moments of pressing need, feeling helpless, the man attacked her again, this time repeatedly stabbing her with a knife just months after she gave birth to their child. Even after paying countless visits to the police station, there was no progress. Desperate, she knocked on the doors of a courthouse that put her in touch with the Women and Men Progressive Movement, an NGO which helped her successfully pursue her case.
เคสผู้หญิงที่ไม่มาหาเราเนี่ยก็ยากมากที่จะเข้าต่อสู้หรือว่าก็มีปัญหาถ้าเกิดใช้กฎหมายไม่ได้ก็นำมาสู่การยิงฆ่ากันอะไรเงี้ย
Since 2018, Thailand saw more than a 30% increase in family-related killings. Most cases are husbands killing their wives. In Thailand, the Domestic Violence Victim Act was enacted in 2007. However, Thailand's deeply rooted patriarchal system is hard to shake off.
ภูเขาใต้น้ำแข็งจริงๆแล้วมันมีมากกว่านี้มีคนวิเคราะห์ว่าจริงๆแล้วตัวเลขความแรงในครอบครัวหรือความแรงต่อผู้หญิงเนี่ยที่อยู่ในครอบครัวเนี่ยมันประมาณน่าจะเป็นเกือบแสนนะฮะซึ่งเป็นตัวเลขที่ไม่เป็นทางการนะแต่ตัวเลขเป็นทางการจะประมาณ 25,000-30,000
The magnitude of the domestic violence problem in Thailand is underestimated and is rarely documented. Often viewed as a private issue, couples keep silent and refrain from sharing relationship conflicts with outsiders. It is swept under the rug and remains a hidden issue in Thai society. And here are other top stories from today. And that is all from me today. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube and Facebook for the latest news updates. I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place. I'm Prasad Michael. Thank you for watching. But before we go, we leave you with the picturesque scenes of Pu'er Mountain in China.